Good morning, it's Brian Whitten here and ET Art. I just wanted to put this video up. As you can see in front of us here, I have got my new microscope and I have put the rock under it. As you can see, the image on the screen on the right side is the new image, or the image obtained with the new microscope. Okay, now I've just got, that's a setup. We've got our new microscope here. I've got a rock under the microscope. This is the one that used to have the Nibiru. I know you don't see that very well. I can see in the screen it's a bit dark, so you can't really see anything here. But it was the one with Nibiru, and a man standing here. And as up until yesterday, it had a black spot there, another black spot there, which was as big as that one, so you could line them up. It was actually a little bit further down. I'm going to move it down here, because that actually is well lit down the bottom here. So there's these little black marks here, but there's not the big black mark. There was a big black mark there yesterday. My son and I had the very same rock on the TV screen, and we were doing a comparison between this microscope and our cheaper $30 version. Okay, so we were just having a look at see, how and why things were the way they were. But what I want to notice here is not just that we got the black dot missing. I wanted to explain to you what we see. I'm going to turn that way now. Okay, and you'll see this is the part where it had the bottom of Australia here, and there was a comet impact in this part, which is what it was pointing to, and had Nibiru here and a man standing, and all these lines, they disappeared. But the black spot that was there yesterday has gone this morning. It was actually there till lunchtime yesterday. We were lining this image here up with that one and that one. So what I'm going to do now is, I won't worry about that at this point. I'm going to go like that. I'll do a refocus here and I'll show you what happens and why it would appear it is a discovery. The lighting thing that I've got here now on this, so we're using a high-tech version. This is what would be in a geologist's, work area. They wouldn't have this piece of rubbish. This is a $30 one. This is, you pay in excess of $1,000 for this sort of thing in Australia. What we do, I'm going to show you something now. I'm going to turn the light off on the good microscope. Right. And then I'm going to turn this on, which is how I get my light on my rock. Look, you're flat out getting any bloody thing on it at all. Look, see, it's the technology, the length away. See, it's actually really difficult even to get a light in there to a point you can actually get anything. So I apologise to every geologist in the world, okay, most wholeheartedly. I have accused you of hiding something from us, and you have not. You couldn't bloody see it. That's the problem. So once again, I'll show you that is not a trick of light or anything. There's nothing there. You cannot go the way with the other microscope, and it's to do, I believe, with the focal length of the device. What's stopping you seeing it is that you've got a far more advanced technology that's actually stopping it work. It would appear to be, in my opinion, a poor man's discovery. Now I'm going to put that rock back under the other microscope and we'll have a look at exactly what happens. Okay, and we'll see our black spot missing. Now I've got that rock under the other microscope. I've focused it here, so you've got my microscope on this side with the rock underneath, and you've got the screen focused. Well, you watch what happens here when I start to turn, first of all, the light down, and this is what does not happen on the other microscope. So I'll first of all tweak the light down there, turn this one off just so I'm not getting any light from, I'm getting a little bit of light from everywhere else at the moment, but it's you still will see what I'm talking about. Right, so you can see what I'm saying here is you cannot get that effect at all on the other microscope. So if you're actually trying to get your image, you can't get your image. your light never comes in at the right angle. Now if I was getting the image that we were looking at last week on this rock, I would be moving over this way a bit. I'll just lift that up higher just so I can see him there. That's where I had this rock the other day, where I said to you I can get a bloke almost lying down here like he's lying back. It's a bit hard to get, but like there. But you can see you're not getting this effect at all. You don't get to see any of this at all. None of that stuff on the screen that you're seeing comes up at all on the other microscope. And you can see where I'm holding this light here, look. I'll go around this side and just see what happens on this side here. If I go, you can see where I've got the light to the microscope. I'm over here. My microscope's here. So that's how you do this. It's actually not, you see what I'm talking about. So you don't get that effect at all with the other microscope. It just doesn't allow you to do it. You get nothing. You cannot see a bloody thing. I'm going around here and you can see that it changes the light on the... If I was going real slow like this, you would end up sort of coming to different images as you go around. I'm a little bit out of focus there, but it was more just to show you that the other guys, the professionals, cannot see it. It's because you've got very good microscopes, whereas these little ones allow you to actually do. So like I said, it was certainly a poor man's discovery. It looks like it was supposed to be done for a man that had one of these little microscopes. These dots were there, that was all. Up till about midday yesterday, to be honest. We went for a swim. I didn't go from that point, we didn't go back to the rock nor the microscope. So that's just what happened. It was a situation where we decided to go for a swim. So we sort of went out of the house for a little bit, and that's what we did. We just went for a swim. So since then, the 2 dots that were on that rock is reduced to 1. I've just put time to pole shift back up on my own computer so we can look at the image that we had here that I put up in the video only just last week. And we had the black dot here at the bottom, which is the one that's disappeared now. As in within the last half an hour, the black dot at the top. You can go figure. You may think they're dust. I don't know. I've had them on this rock. They've been there the whole time. They've been there the entire time we've made those videos. I'm just going to let this play while I talk to you about a few things about the imagery that you're going to see. And as you can see with the other microscope, you don't get any of this sort of thing happen when I move the light around or start moving the light around the rock. And I'll just go back to that part where I do that, where I start moving the light around for you, so that you can see live what I'm doing when I'm moving the light around. But what you've got to do when you do this, you've got to always remember not to have any other light in the room. I'm not kidding. If you've got any other light, it disperses the light and you're getting light at a different angle, so then you don't get the imagery. So what you've got to do is make sure you do it in a darkened room, okay, and then you'll get the effects you see when you do this. Now, like I said, I have people that say, oh look, I don't see anything, I don't see anything. Well, that's fine, you're quite entitled to see things. I've had people say that some of the things I've put up look like pictures that I put up on the Facebook or YouTube account. So look, I know, I just enjoy seeing what comes out of them. I think the rocks and the story behind them, we need to look into it. It's not something that can be ignored. If this is a situation where they have been modified, we need to know how far in the country it extends to. And the reason, the predictivity of the next event being in Australia, at this point, I am under the impression that what we're going to find is that a situation where it just won't, it'll be a situation where I'll just pause that there for a minute. you know, these marks have gone off this rock. You know, they're not that 4 was a 4. It was a 4, and it told me there were 4 comets that hit Australia. That's, you know, what separated our continent. Look, all I know is this: the rocks need to be assessed because we need to see if they exist anywhere else in the world. Because if they don't, and this sort of modification that we're seeing here does not exist anywhere else, that it would actually lend even further to my argument that the next location for the place where the next comet will hit will be Australia. Okay, because we've also said in their explanation the first comet was a warning, but we already know it came down to Australia. It's actually on the same latitude as the situation, and you know, maybe the situation is here as they, in their placement of those comets on the planet on that day, have told us of a pending event that they do know about because they can see, you know, down the track. So we need to assess the rocks. We need to see if it's anywhere else in the world that exhibits this type of modification. The imagery that you're seeing, as I insert a few, I'll insert a few now. These are images that are just taken off rocks that are supposed to be natural rocks. I don't, you know, and seriously, what we've already looked at is certainly questionable as to whether it's natural, you know. So, and I can understand, like I said, I once again apologise to all of you geologists who have, in actual fact, not been hiding something. It was something you couldn't see. The technology you were using is far too advanced. The focal length from the lens to the camera, obviously an issue. And the lighting, it's like to have the rock to the point where you've got a gap of, you know, 6 inches where you can get the light to the rock, no problem. It does nothing. It is absolutely unbelievable that you see absolutely nothing still. So that astounded me. I've got to admit, I spent $600 or over $600 buying a microscope that'll soon be on, I don't know, I might put it on Gumtree. I'll be honest, I cannot use it for what I want to do. The process of producing these images for you, and the whole concept of my proceeding onwards for what I wanted to do was do that, you know. The imagery. Look, as far as the book's concerned, I've actually decided the name of the book I'm going to write. I'm still leaving a sensible decision in the hands of the Australian government, which is seeming more and more and more like an unlikely thing to happen. So I'm going to write my book. It's going to be called Curveball. I've already made up what it's going to be called, and it's going to be about what I put in up till this point, all to do with the pyramid. And like I said, I can only hope that somebody sees some sense eventually, and maybe, you know, gives us a bit of hand, go and do this study. But it needs to be done, and we need to find out whether this is an existing thing on the rest of the world, because I would suspect, to be honest, you're only going to find these on the east coast of Australia, in an area in line with that proposed comet. That's why I reckon it's there. Where that comet impact is in central Australia, right? So if that actually happened, it would throw scatter rock all over the show, right? So scattered rock being all the river rocks on this side of the thing, maybe depictive of exactly that. So that's why I'm saying to you, we need to do the study. We need to find out how far it exists, how many rivers have this sort of issue, and find out just exactly where, you know, because my theory is that I'm thinking this is actually going to be a situation where that be the case. It'll be exactly related to the pending catastrophe that was predicted, both at Carry-On and would be at microscopic level on some of the rocks I've got. So we need to look at it, you know. Okay, look, that's all for this video. It is a short one for a change. Have a nice day. This is Brian Whitten and ET Art. Have a good one. Bye bye.